Hello, and welcome to another Sports NextDoor podcast. My name is Owen. Today is Sunday, July 11th, and I am not joined by my neighbor Max for this episode, flying solo. Max is off camping in Eastern Ontario. I imagine he's having a fantastic time, and I am not with him, and I am here carrying the load for this one. It means it's going to be a shorter pod. Max has already got out his Denis Shapovalov match reaction, as well as the McGregor-Poirier round 3 match. He's got both of his reaction videos up for that on YouTube. So I will be going through some of my sports and giving my takes on the weekend, some highlights, some lowlights, and then maybe we'll sneak in a preview of Game 3 between the Suns and the Bucks as the Bucks look to grab a game at home and try and swing the tide of the series, because right now Phoenix is looking awful good. Let's get right into it, shall we? The first highlight of the weekend: Italy, England, the Euro Cup. Great spectacle. Wembley was absolutely bumping. Fans bursting in through security officials into the arena, just absolute bedlam. And they had a lot to cheer about. As early as the second minute, England gets the lead. Italy equalizes, and we go through extra time and go right into penalties. And you could already tell Italy, looser team, better body language. They had just gone through this against Spain in the semifinals. Their goalkeeper is a mountain of a man, just so much larger compared to Jordan Pickford. And you had two composed guys from England go first and second, a little bit of veteran experience, and then 3 really young kids: Rashford, Sancho, Saka. And obviously we have to dub them now with the Timo title for their choke job. It's tough to put it on the kids. They look pretty heartbroken afterwards, but you have to put the title on if they're unable to come through. It was close. Jorginho with a chance to win the title, just as he had beaten Spain in the previous match. And Pickford with just a fantastic save, tips the ball off the post, just keeps it off the line, leading to a shot from Saka that was stopped by Donnarumma, and Italy victorious, back on top once again. It's been a while since the 2004 World Cup victory, which also ended in penalties. Of course, the infamous Zinedine Zidane headbutt. That was the true story of that one. But Italy once again uses penalties to win an international title. Congratulations to them. Woodbridge on fire right now. Absolutely going crazy. And it's something they get to celebrate coming out of COVID. So happy for them, happy for their supporters. And that was the highlight of this afternoon here, as it just wrapped up about an hour and a half ago. I wanted to talk about another football match, which was even more exciting for me personally. I've always been a Messi fan. I grew up, I had his full Argentina kit and had the hair to match back when he was rocking the flow. And he was an idol of mine just because of his diminutive stature and his thrilling play. As a soccer player growing up, I wanted to be like him. And he finally breaks through the ceiling and captures his first international trophy with Argentina. It took him, 15 years? 2005, I think he started. So 16 years. This one might be his last Copa America, and they're able to get it over Brazil 1-0. That's huge for his legacy, huge for him, for the GOAT conversation. We had 2 GOATs really establish themselves this weekend, and Messi's right there with all of the greats, and now he's got a big international trophy to add to his collection. So he gets my big gold star for this one on my highlights reaction pod. The other GOAT, of course, adding to his total, it wasn't so long ago at the French Open where we were talking about Novak Djokovic and the GOAT conversation. And what does he do? He goes and grabs Wimbledon and his 20th major title. The Grand Slam is totally on now, as he has won 3 of 3 and just one more to go with the US Open. Also potential if he goes to the Olympics for the super rare Golden Slam. And it just doesn't look like there's anyone in his stratosphere right now. He is out of his mind, playing incredibly, super dominant, super composed, and even was up 5-2 in the first set to Matteo Berrettini, loses it 7-6 in the tiebreak, and then comes right back and says, no, I have control of this match and things are going to go this way. And really, you're just looking for that next young superstar to take a step forward and actually become a true equal to Novak and put on some more thrilling displays. We're just looking for that next big star to step forward on the men's side, with Roger and Rafa at the true tail ends of their careers. And Novak's just looking for that next major competitor to strike down, or maybe just he's too good. But shout out to Novak Djokovic. He continues to build his GOAT case, and a fantastic end to a great Wimbledon, as Max had talked about in all the previous podcasts that we have done. I also wanted to throw out shout outs to the USA U19 men's basketball. Chet Holmgren winning the MVP of that tournament. Canada's team winning the bronze against Serbia. Shout out to those kids. That's something they'll always remember and hopefully can take with them as they jump into college and try to work their way to the NBA. For the USA team, completely dominant. Actually, a closer game than I thought against France, but Holmgren, unbelievable. He had to go up against Victor Wembanyama, who put up, I think it was 25, 8 and 8 blocks. He's going to be something special in the NBA, as he's already playing pro in France as a member of the team owned by Tony Parker. But he looks to be a pretty special talent that will be eligible, not next year's draft, but the 2023 NBA draft, unless the rules change. So look out for these kids. They're coming up through the system. There's some great basketball on display this last week at the U19 FIBA Championship. That does it for the highlights. I told you we're going to be buzzing through this one. We're going to jump right into the lowlights. Ronald Acuña Jr. tearing his ACL. He is done for the rest of the season. A huge blow to Major League Baseball. They were looking forward to showing off all of their stars coming up tomorrow and Tuesday for All-Star Week, Home Run Derby, and of course the game itself. The Derby is the best part of it. It's a big, big loss. Acuña is one of the new faces of the league, alongside the young stars of Vladdy Guerrero Jr., Fernando Tatis, Juan Soto, anyone else you really want to throw in there. Acuña is probably top of that list. He's just been an unbelievable hitter, unbelievable fielder, lots of speed. He does things on the diamond that not many others can do. And it's a big loss for baseball, because they're about to hit their stride and really have the late summer months that they dominate typically before football arrives. And it's big to lose a star like that. And I don't think they've done not nearly a good enough job hyping up what Shohei Ohtani has done this season. He is the modern day Babe Ruth. It's probably even more impressive what he's done. And if he was a Yankee, Red Sox, Dodger, Met, who else do you want to throw there? Like, if he's on a team that's not the Los Angeles Angels, he's way bigger of a phenomenon. If it's 10 years ago, he's dominating storylines every day. So with Acuña out, MLB's really got to lean on Shohei here. He's got to be the face of the league, at least for this season, because what he's doing is unparalleled. And that would be my take there. A really, really shocking one that somehow flew under the radar for a lot of people, but really should be a top story, is Team USA losing to Team Nigeria in a friendly in basketball. USA favored by 28.5 points, throwing out a lineup that consists of Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker's not there yet, but Bam Adebayo, like a super solid lineup. Obviously not their A++ lineup with some of the guys who have turned it down, but still a potent lineup nonetheless. Lots of length, lots of shot creation, and Nigeria comes out and plays their butts off. That's the thing with being Team USA, right? Every team is going to take their best shot, so you better make sure you're ready. you imagine the talent should always win out for them though, but a huge shocking upset. Precious Achua with an all-time Instagram post with him blocking Kevin Durant. And yeah, it was really impressive showing from Nigeria. And that's going to, I think, wake up the USA in a big way. And I could see them steamrolling the competition now, as they probably went into these first couple of friendlies too lackadaisical. The last low light I wanted to talk about that came through over this last week is the IOC. I'm going to throw them in my low light category. Of course, the big storyline that's been buzzing about is Sha'Carri Richardson. I think that's been talked enough. So I really wanted to highlight some of the other stuff that maybe has gone under the radar in the national media, but a couple of track athletes being banned from competing in their respective sports due to the high level of testosterone. And I'm just getting it here. Namibian runners, Christine Mboba and Beatrice Masilingi. I'm sorry if I butchered those. I'm not great with names. They're found to have too high a level of testosterone. And I wanted to throw a low light here because of the double standard that exists in the Olympics, where Michael Phelps is someone who is born with a genetic predisposition to be able to swim at a high level, produce a lower level of lactic acid, be able to go longer, do more impressive athletic feats. In fact, that's what most of these Olympic athletes are. They are genetically different from the general population, where their bodies are have the predisposition to run faster, jump higher, run longer, swim longer, throw bigger objects. There's obviously a huge piece of training that goes into it, but you have to have that foundation genetically to be able to do what they do. And so if the Olympics can allow Michael Phelps, and there are plenty of other examples out of there where they have something that just helps them compete at a higher level in their sport, why is it then that the women are affected by it? I think you can say there's a difference if it's a transgendered athlete. It becomes a bit of a gray area there in that regard. But if it is a naturally occurring chemical in the body and they've done nothing to alter it, then they should be able to go. There should be no limit on that. So shame on you, IOC. And also the swim caps incident, where there are specially designed swim caps for African-American women with different types of hair that have been banned. And again, just not a good look. It's the IOC is historically been a racist organization, and that continues to shine through. And so I had to touch on that on my lowlights. We're going to take one more break and come back and do a Game 3 NBA Finals preview. And I am back to give you a Game 3 really quick preview before tip-off. It's around 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Game set to kick off at 8, which, first of all, I love so much more. It is way too late in these games when it starts at 9 p.m. I know it's a West Coast thing, but I really would love to be able to watch the entire game in the moment and really try and dissect it. But alas, not to be. At least I can hopefully get through all of this one. The Suns up 2-0 in this series off of the back of some amazing shooting as a whole from their team, generating lots of wide open looks and converting on those. Chris Paul and Devin Booker have been immensely solid. Ayton solid in his role, not as sensational as we have seen in some other series, but still making his presence felt. I think Brook Lopez actually has done an underrated job of being able to contain him. And I basically had two kind of tidbits here in how I think Milwaukee can really change this series. The first way is you have to make Chris Paul work on both ends of the floor, but primarily make him carry the ball up the floor every time and have to put his body into someone. Just harass him a little bit more as he's trying to initiate the offense. Any time spent with his back to the basket as he's bringing the ball up the court is a win from Milwaukee, and you really want to make him work at his age. And we could actually see a little bit more campaign, a little bit more Devin Booker bringing the ball up if the Bucks decide to do that at a higher rate. The other thing I would say is I think PJ Tucker this is just not the series for him. I've heard lots of people already mention this, but he sits in the corner and Phoenix can hide their worst defender on him at all times. That's what the Hawks were able to do with Trae Young. They can just hide him on Tucker. And then on the defensive side, he's solid. He works hard. I think he's fine on Booker, but I just think Milwaukee gets more value with running another shooter out there. This is where they really miss DiVincenzo, but if they can throw out Pat Connaughton or if they can throw Bryn Forbes, I would not like to see Jeff Teague anymore in this series, but it gives them that extra advantage. And I think the offensive upside of putting one of those guys out there far outweighs the what you lose on the defensive side by taking out Tucker. He just doesn't really have the perfect matchup for him on either side, and I think Booker could really cook him if they decided to, but we haven't seen that yet. And then the last thing is the Bucks just need more from Middleton and from Holiday. Giannis, of course, has been a steady, incredible force, really underrated the stats he's put up so far in this entire playoffs, but you need more from your guys who are getting paid to be your 2 and 3 of this big three, and they just haven't gotten it yet. I expect one of them to have a pretty good game tonight, and the Bucks as a whole to have the crowd behind them play really well. And I expect them to take game 3. If you're Phoenix, you're really just trying to control the tempo, try and keep that crowd nervous because this crowd knows it's a must win. And so if this game stays close, that nervous energy is really going to catch on to their players. So you're just, as Phoenix, trying to avoid any big Milwaukee runs, especially early in the game. But the third quarter is probably that key quarter that if you're Phoenix, if you pick a quarter that you want to win, it's got to be that third quarter. And then the unease will settle in Wisconsin and have them scratching their necks and holding their hands behind their head. But really looking forward to the game, about to tip off in half an hour. That's going to be it for this one. I'm sorry we can't bring you a longer pod, but I found the value of our podcast is that Max and I can really get into things, dig a little deeper, break things down, throw things off each other back and forth. So for me, this one, it's just a brief little preview. He's gone until next Sunday's pod, so I'll have something fairly short on Thursday, but hopefully a little bit more analysis to provide. Thank you everyone so much for listening and watching. If this is on YouTube, I appreciate each and every one of you. And I look forward to speaking to you again on Thursday. Have a good rest of your weekend, everyone, and enjoy your week. Sports Next Door, signing out.